I think by way of introduction, I'm going to share and review President Rivlin's personal biography, but I think it was just demonstrated because even though we're here tonight to have a conversation with the president, he's more interested in highlighting Uriel and Asaf and the incredible organization, which says a lot about him, where his heart is, his commitment to our people and to the state of Israel, and I think really demonstrated who he is even before my words. But if it's okay, President, I'm going to take a moment to remind everyone a little bit about your background, including parts they may not be entirely familiar with and aware of. President Rivlin was elected to the 12th Knesset, 1988, as a member of Likud. He later served in the Knesset from 96 until his election as president in 2014.
Likud did that in those days.
In 2001, he was appointed the Minister of Communication by Prime Minister Ariel Sharon at the time and served in that position for 2 years. President Rivlin was elected Speaker of the Knesset in the 16th Knesset from 2003 to 2006, and in the 18th Knesset from 2009 to 2013, he was elected to that position once again. On June 10, 2014, President Rivlin was elected as the President of the State of Israel. And as President Rivlin declared his commitment to safeguarding the State of Israel as a Jewish and democratic and Jewish at the same time. President Rivlin was born in Yerushalayim, the undivided, undisputable capital of the Jewish people. He was born before there was a State of Israel. I hope it's okay, I'm giving away the president's age a little bit.
I'm a young boy of 84.
President Rivlin was born during the Mandate era to the Rivlin family, which had lived in Yerushalayim since 1809. President descends from Talmidim, students of the Vilna Gaon, who had made Aliyah and the old Yeshuv in Israel. Before President Rivlin was President Rivlin.
Which means I'm a Litvak.
But a warm Litvak, not a Kalta Litvak. President Rivlin may be the first president of the State of Israel and his family, but he was not the first candidate. His father was a candidate for president of Israel in 1957, before he withdrew in favor of the incumbent at the time. The president served in the intelligence corps of the Israeli Defense Forces during the Six-Day War, fought with the Yerushalayim Brigade, accompanied the paratroopers as an intelligence officer. And since 1999, President Rivlin has employed Rivka Ravitz, a Haredi woman, a mother of many children, as his chief of staff. She was a guest of ours on our podcast, Behind the Bima, and spoke incredibly of you, President Rivlin, your accommodations and your support of her and her life and her career as she served you faithfully in that position. Really an extraordinary woman in her own right. What doesn't appear on any of the websites that tell the president's personal history is that he bestowed the first Jerusalem Unity Prize several years ago, the prize of Achdus, of Achdut, the families of the 3 boys who were kidnapped and tragically who were murdered. Back when we were so moved and thought 3 was an impossible number of hostages, of those who were kidnapped. And it's not lost on any of us tonight. We're on the eve. Tomorrow is the 100th day since the outset of this war. The 100th day our soldiers are fighting on the front line. The 100th day too many hostages are still being held, including children and a baby who turned 1. Triple digits, the 100th day. It's not beyond us as we sit here and have the privilege of hosting the President of Israel, exactly where Israel is in this moment. So those 3 families of those 3 boys hosted a unity prize to recognize communities that practiced unity of the Jewish people. It's what we felt as we went through that ordeal. As we'll talk about momentarily, it's what we've seen a resurgence of today. And they wanted to recognize those who practiced unity. And Rabbi Brody, on behalf of our community, was in the president's residence in Yerushalayim as President Rivlin bestowed upon our Boca Raton community the very first Unity Prize of Yerushalayim. We're very, very proud of that.
Thank you.
So President Rivlin, it's truly an honor to sit with you tonight. And I want to begin by asking you, when you were a young boy before pre-state Israel, could you ever have dreamt or imagined that one day you would be the president of the State of Israel?
I was born to the First World War, to the Second World War. And since I was 2 years old, I stand it on my mind, because in Jerusalem, you had to really take care of your own, because my father, He was professor at the Hebrew University, but he was a Talmid Chacham. I'm from the families of Talmidei Chachamim, but unfortunately I'm not a Talmid Chacham.
Not yet.
No, I know something, but I'm not a Talmid Chacham. I'm a Jerusalemite, son of Jerusalemite, son of the sun, as you have said, goes back to 1809. Why 1809? 1809 was not important. The calendar, according to the Jewish calendar, was Shnat Hey Taf Kuf Ein. 3 letters, Taf Kuf Ein, means one word, Tka. And Tka is sound or blow, the great horn, the great shofar, to proclaim our freedom. And one of my grandfathers, the Vilna Gaon, he was a Gaon. I'm not. I was a politician. No, I graduated at the university. I have the degrees of LLB and LLM and everything like that, but I'm not a Gaon. But he has said to his people and to his pupil, to the members of the family, why should we pray to God every day 3 times? Please, God, with your mercy, let us return back to Jerusalem. Because Jerusalem was the homeland. And Jerusalem was till Damascus and till Eilat. We were there, and the Gaon in 1776 said, on the year Tafkuf Ein, which will be 1809, the Messiah will get to Jerusalem. And how come the Rivlin family will not welcome him? So, at Sukkot Tafkuf Ein, Sukkot 1809, we are in Jerusalem, and I was born, when I was born, as a Palestinian, because Palestine was existing. Palestine, I was existing at the time, not the state of Israel, but when I was born in 9/9/39, I had only my one dream. And you have asked me if my dream was to become the president of Israel. And I can assure you that when I was 10 years old, the Knesset was opened in Jerusalem on Tu B'Shvat. And people came to me because they thought that I was quite clever. And they asked me, although you are 10 years old, you were already at the Independence War, commander of a tank, not with a cannon, a water tank that I took. Don't laugh. We really supplied water to all the people of Jerusalem, 10 years old. And when people said to me, give me more, I said to him, hold your horses. First, we have to go to give everyone. And I was 10 years old. So, at the time that the Knesset was open, people asked me, Reuven, the same question you have asked me today, only 84 years after that. But you have asked me, Reuven, what is your dream? And I've said to them, what do you mean, what is my dream? Well, Reuven, the Knesset was opened, and you are living just now in Rechavia, next to Sharei Chesed, of course. And what is your dream? Would you will become a member of Knesset? I said, it is possible, but you need a dream to become a member of Knesset. Maybe you would like to become a minister. And I've said, minister, I see all the people in Rechavia, and I see a lot of ministers. I see Ben Gurion, I see Dov Yosef, I see Shapira, I see Burg, I see Ben Tzvi, I see every one of them. And I must say that it's very good to be a minister. I feel it. You have a car, you have a chauffeur with a special hat. You feel a lot of comfort. You had a lot of comfort being minister. But I must tell you that, in my opinion, I don't think that you have to have a dream in order to become a minister even. So they asked me, would you like to become a prime minister or something like that? I said, no, they asked me if I would like to become the president of the Knesset, the speaker of the Knesset. And at the time, it was Spritzak, who was the first speaker of the Knesset. And I said, I know Spritzak, he comes to our home from time to time. I must tell you, he's a very respectable man, but forgive me, but you don't have to be really lucky in order to become, you don't need the dream to become the speaker. Actually, no one asked me if I want to become a president. So they asked me, Rovi, what is your dream? And when I was born in 1939, there were in Israel 190,000 Jews. In 48, at the time that I was asked in 48 if I have a dream, we had in Israel at about 300,000 Jews. Most of them came to Jerusalem, I must say. Were majority of Jews in Jerusalem at the year 1864. But we were only 300,000. And after 45, we got an audition. We absorbed many people who came from the Shoah. No one of us in Jerusalem thought and fought or really expressed himself as if the Shoah is the state of Israel is compensation to the Shoah. No. We said we returned home in 1809, Shnat Tavkuf Ayin, because we have returned to our homeland. It's not a compensation. It is ours. It is our land. It was promised to us, and we know we don't have any other place to go to. So they asked me, so what is your dream? And I've said to them as a 10-year-old boy, in the year 1949, at the opening of the Knesset, my dream is that in the year 2000, we will have in Israel 2 million Jews. At 2000, we had a horrible number of Jews in Israel, 6 million. But it was 6 million and not 2 million. And now we have in Israel at about 10 million citizens. Out of them, almost 8 million are Jews or consider themselves as Jews. So I had a dream, and it did not fulfill, because much bigger dream had God at the time, saying to me, you don't understand what I'm going to do to your people, but please tell your people to help me to help them all the time. And really, God bless. We are all helping, and in those days, we need a lot of help and encouragement from every one of us to the other, because you see that when Israel is in trouble, immediately anti-Semitism is rising, and immediately anti-Semitism we watch in great waves, and we have a lot of problems. I must tell you, as the president of Israel, I was asked by the president of Austria in the year 2021, almost at the end of my function as the president of Israel. Please, I would like you to welcome to the president chamber the foreign affairs minister of Austria. And I said to him, you know, it's not according to the protocol, because I should welcome you. You are the president, maybe the prime minister. But how can I really receive the foreign affairs minister? He said, it's very, very important from us, from political point of view. Help me to really to make Austria a great nation and friends of Israel. And I've said to him, if this is your wish, it is almost a command for the Jewish people in Israel to help you if it's possible. But please send me her curriculum vitae. And when I saw her curriculum vitae, I watched and I saw that she is heading the neo-fascist party in Austria. And I phoned the president. I said to him, Mr. President, the lady that you would like me to welcome in Israel is the leader of a neo-fascist party. And he said, yes, but she loves Israel. She admires Israel. I said to him, listen to me, Mr. President. I like you very much, and I respect you very much, and I salute you, and you are a real great friend to our country and to our state, but you have to listen to me very careful. There is no one who can love Israel or admire Israel and hate Jews. And there is no one that admires the Jews who hate Israel. We are one, and we will always remain one. And because of that, we have a lot of dreams, many dreams, but we wish that all our dreams will become really reality. And I must say that we are doing good in Israel. Unfortunately, the 7th of October.
We're going to get to that. President Reuven, we'll get to the 7th in October, but while we're still in the presidency, could you share with us what you're most proud of?
He wants to ask the question, he's right.
This is a typical conversation in my house, by the way. It's hard to get a word in edgewise. President Rivlin, share with us in your time as president, the 10th president, not many presidents of Israel, given the scope and the perspective that you have been born in the state mandate. What are you most proud of? What accomplishment, what experience, what meeting? Is there something you can share with us that stands out that you're most proud of as president?
First of all, you have to know, in America, once a president is always a president. In Israel, no. There are people who are trying to convince us that in Israel, once a prime minister is always a prime minister. There are people, some of them. But I can assure you, and that what I was taught by my father and my mother, that when you are being elected to a public service, you have to remember that it would end after 7 years. And 7 years is enough, because in 7 years you have to do a lot. And you are the president, you are symbolizing the unity of the people. Because, you know, when we don't have here at Shul, when we don't have somebody to argue with, we argue with ourselves. Sometimes we have 3 opinions, not only 2. And in Israel, there is left and wrong, or how can I say so? There is left and right and wrong, and left and wrong, and we have everything in Israel. And we argue all the time. But when we are in the army, we are all together. And all the people of Israel knows that Israel is a Jewish state by all means. This is the only Jewish state that we have, the Jewish people. But nevertheless, we, the majority in Israel, from left and right, we know very well that Israel cannot exist without being Jewish, as a Jewish state, without being a democracy. And we are a democracy. And democracy means we are liberals, which means the majority cannot affect the civil rights of every person in Israel, whatever his ideas are, as long as he is faithful to the state of Israel as his own state. And believe you me, out of 10 million citizens of Israel, most of them, more than 90%, knows very well that they would prefer to remain Israeli citizens more than to become any citizen of any other state in the world. You can have two citizenships. We have no objection about it.
And this is something that you worked on as president. This is something that you were devoted to.
I really believe that it is possible because once upon a time, and Ben-Gurion was, and I really supported his thoughts against the ideas of Jabotinsky and Menachem Begin, my tutors and not my rabbis, because I had my rabbis, he was one of my grandfathers, so I couldn't listen to them about rabbis, but I thought that when Ben-Gurion said at the time that in order to be a Zionist, you have to make Aliyah. And Jabotinsky says, no, you can be a Zionist also if you are in the diaspora. I thought all the time that Ben-Gurion was right. During the years, I understood the connection. I understood the connection of the Jewish people. We are one people. And I didn't understand until I really came into really conclusions from the facts that I really faced during the years, that Arvut Adadit are not words. Arvut Adadit is mutual guarantee. And Arvut Adadit is mashu, I say. It's something that goes to the heart of Judaism. And now we see so very well, in the last 10 years, in the last decade, most of the years I was the president of Israel, that the connection between all the Jewish people from all around the world is something that we cannot live without. We are all together. We are one family, and we tried really to do whatever we could in order to show the whole people of Israel that this is a must, to really consider the whole Jewish people all around the world as one people who are very, very much connected to the land of Israel, to our homeland.
And we always felt that, President Rivlin, certainly, and the Unity Prize, our connection, our community in particular, has always been incredibly devoted to Israel, promoting, celebrating Aliyah, Nefesh B'Nefesh. Rabbi Josh Fast, Tony Gelbart, it began here in our community, in our shul. But it's really grown enormously since October 7th. And even the parts of the Jewish community who were alienated from Israel or disconnected from Israel and sometimes even hostile to Israel, since October 7th, there's this groundswell of incredible connection, commitment, of just living, breathing what's happening in Israel. So I want to ask you, having lived through every Israeli war, from the War of Independence through October 7th, and this war with Hamas, with that perspective and that scope, what does October 7th mean to you, both in your public role as the immediate past president, and personally, what you've seen, your family, what you've lived through, what happened on October 7th, and as tomorrow is day 100, what is still happening every day since, what does it mean for you?
Well, I learned about my family that when we came to Jerusalem at the year 1809, at Shnat Ka, the Arabs welcomed the Jews who came, 250 families to Jerusalem, because they say welcome. Jerusalem is neglected. No one paid attention to Jerusalem. Ramle was the capital of the Islamic nation when Harun al-Rashid, after 650, came to Israel and conquered the whole region. But the people of Jerusalem welcomed the Jews so much, so we had no trouble. When Zionism became a political movement, we started to have problems. We didn't have problems with Islam. We didn't have problems with Islam. We had problems with the Arab states. I remember my father telling Menachem Begin at the time in 48, and telling my father was a professor in the university. He was a Talmid Chacham, but he was a professor in the university. But he was a professor to the Arabic language, and he have translated the Quran from Arabic, the first translation from Arabic to Hebrew, and it was translated from Hebrew to German and to English only after the translation of my father. He lived along with our friends or with our neighbors, the people of Jerusalem. We were all Jerusalemites, and they understood that we have returned home. I remember home, which means we have returned to our homeland. I remember, and my mother have told me afterwards to remind me that in 42, we were visiting Mayor Fredge in Bethlehem because we were, both families were very friendly, and we had Nusayba from the Muslim side, all the really what you call the important families in Jerusalem were meeting all together. On Shabbat, they came to us, to the Jews, and on Sunday, we went to the Christians, and on Friday, we went to visit every month we had really a meeting between the families. And on the balcony of Fredge, in 1942, El Alamein was in battle, and on one side was Montgomery, on the other side was Rommel, and our neighbors and friends from the Christian side and the Arabic side have said, you know, there is a war in North Africa, and probably immediately after the war, the Germans will win and they will come to Palestine, but you have nothing to worry about because we, the French and the Nusayba and the Arab, we will keep and we will protect all the Jewish people of Jerusalem. And my father smiled and said to him, we have no war between us, and I can assure you that after Montgomery and Rommel will end the war, Montgomery will win. And then we will build and we will announce the independence of the state of Israel. And in the state of Israel, we will not have to have the duty to protect you, because everyone at the Jewish state that we will build would be a free citizen. But the state would be a Jewish state, a democratic one and a liberal one. And we can do it because when we say, אתה בחרתנו מכל העמים, אהבת אותנו ורצית בנו, he knew that we have to be some, איך אומרים מגדלור? A beacon of light to the whole region. And we're still trying. So we had no war with Islam. We had war with 7 countries, with Egypt, with Jordan, with Syria, with Lebanon, and with Iraq, and Syria and Lebanon, and Jordan, Egypt and Yemen, I suppose. Morocco joined they sent few tanks. But they consider themselves as if they are taking part in the attack on Israel. Okay, we managed with the 6th, we could manage with the 7th. But we had no war with Islam. And now the ISIS they are against, and the Islamic Brotherhood is against Egypt. The Islamic Brotherhood is against everything that goes as nationality. They want pan-Islamic empire. And the president of Turkey, he really started to think like them. Something is wrong probably with some of the minds. But never ever it was a war between Islam and Judaism. It is a war between the people, and now Egypt understands, and we have strategical connection with them. We have a connection and strategical interest a mutual interest with Jordan. We have understanding with the Christian and the Druze in Lebanon. Nevertheless, we have a lot of problems with the Sunnis, who are the Islamic Brotherhood, and the Shia in Iran. And both of them were in a war for 7 years, butchering one each other. And immediately afterwards, they found that they have to be together in order to bring to an end the idea of Israel. And what have happened in the 7th of October, besides our really fail to watch the fact that were really in front of us, and I'll talk about it without any hesitation. I must say that on the 7th of October, we found ourselves against people who are against every state. They are against Jordan, they are against Egypt. Every one of them says we have all together to become Muslims, and the ISIS are not Al-Qaeda anymore. ISIS really believe that they have to bring down all the Arab nations and to build up an empire of Islamic force or Islamic people that are going together without the need to have separate states. And of course, the one to unite them is the idea of bringing to an end Israel. The terrorists who are considered themselves the Hamas people and the Islamic Jihad and the Islamic Brotherhood, they are not freedom fighters. They don't want a free Palestine, and they don't want to free Palestine. They want an Ottoman or Islamic empire, and we have to understand that, because those people who came to the houses of those people that we have left, and we didn't take care of protecting them, and some of them are being in the hands of the people of the Hamas in Gaza, 144 people of them as hostages. The Hamas people, they don't care about all the population in Gaza. They really believe that the population could be killed, and they don't care about it because they know that the only way to protect themselves from Israel, because Israel is much stronger and she can take care of every one of them, is by using those innocent people in order to go to hug and to say and to blame Israel about really doing something that really affect all innocent people, and they are bringing almost, God forbid, to use the word Holocaust to the people of Gaza. No, they don't care about the people of Gaza. They don't care about Palestinian state. They want to get rid of Israel. They want to butcher Jews. And you did not see the pictures. Some of you probably saw it. But everyone who saw what they have taken, what they have done to families in Kfar Aza and in Be'eri and all around. One of them was holding a phone, phoning his Baba and Mama, and say to them, Baba, Mama, I have just entered a house of the Jews, and there were there a grandfather, a grandmother, a father, and a mother, and 4 children, and 2 of them were girls, grown girls, and we have butchered all of them after raping the ladies, after raping the young daughters. They are not the sons of Satan. they are the Satan himself. And we are fighting against them. And we knew exactly what their aim. The intelligence knew. We knew that every time and every few months they are bombing us, shelling us, sending mortars to all the region surrounding them next to Gaza, the region that protects the whole of Israel. People who are farmers, who are doing a lot. Many of the people from Gaza worked with them for years.
So
They live in
President Rivlin,
harmony.
can I ask you, has October 7th changed your thinking? Because
It's not
previously you've seen that perhaps in Judea and Samaria or
after
Gaza.
2014, we have a lot of ideas among the politicians in Israel. And somebody have decided, and it was a mutual thought of everyone, that the Hamas people decided to create a special state for the Hamas only, not with the Palestinians. And there are some people in Israel who would reject any kind of state or the idea of two states for two people. So they have decided that we should not give Abu Mazen the opportunity to get back to Gaza. Abu Mazen and the Palestinian entity was thrown out from Gaza not because of us. The Hamas people have thrown them from the roofs of the houses, and afterwards they were butchered and they were kicked out of Gaza. And we really thought that after 2014, the Hamas have decided that they are going now to keep quiet and to have peace with Israel, or a long ceasefire in order to build Gaza to become a real separate nation. Nonsense. Nonsense. And we were talking about it, and the intelligence had really, whenever people from the intelligence have said, but they are training, they are doing maneuvers in order to attack Gaza, to attack the surrounding of Gaza, to attack Israel, because we are talking about places who are under sovereignty within the boundaries of the state of Israel. And we are all there watching the preparation of the Hamas people to attack us. They said, nonsense, it can't be, because they really want to build Gaza now. It will take them now 20 years even to think about attacking us, because in 2014, we almost destroyed all of Gaza. Now we are taking care to really to bring to an end the ability of the Hamas people to even intimidate or to think about the possibility of attacking Israel once again. But the discussions among politicians and in the army was that there is no reason to be afraid. It was 50 years ago, exactly. I was in the army already, a captain. I was in the reserve army. I was 7 years, after I was a regular soldier in Yom Kippur War, when we thought that nothing will happen. And we have received information from one of the people of Egypt whom we could trust, because he knew everything that he was saying. And Golda Meir, with everyone, said, nonsense. They cannot attack us. They know that we will destroy them. Nevertheless, what have happened in the Yom Kippur War was a disaster. And Kissinger was a little bit trying us. And Golda have said to him directly, Mr. Kissinger, we know your sources. We know where you came from. We know that you are for Israel. But you are trying to show us that nothing is for sure, and that we need to find a way in order to bring to an end the war between the Israelis and the Egyptians. But you have to understand they are not serious. And, but we have an advantage, Golda said to Kissinger. And Kissinger said, if you saw the film that was brought to the public only a few months ago, I must tell you that Golda said to Kissinger, Henry, you know, we have one great advantage. We have no other place to go to because Israel is our homeland. And because of that, no one can bring to the end of Israel. And Kissinger understood that, and America once again really helped us to bring to an end. But Sadat, making peace with us, when we have asked him to take care of Gaza, he said, no way. And when we asked him to take only 50,000 people and to build a region of a Riviera between El Arish and Gaza and bring a lot of prosperity to the people of Gaza, he said, no one of the Gazian will become a citizen of Egypt.
But Mr.
And
President,
I'm finishing. And I finish my words because this is very important for you to know. I was next to Menachem Begin at the time because I knew Arabic. And I knew Arabic because my father was a professor to Arabic. And I learned Arabic at school because I knew that Professor Rivlin can make my homework and I can play football. So I knew Arabic. And President Sadat have told me, you know Arabic? Well, please tell the Prime Minister, he knows only English and Hebrew. Tell him, and Polish, of course. Tell him, wala eshi, which means even one, because we have built for 5,000 Egyptian places to live next to El Arish. And he refused even to receive one of them as a citizen of Egypt, which means that we have problems. They don't want them, and they want us to get them.
and nothing's changed. The same is true today. They don't want them. They want us. But Mr.
We
President,
have to find the way. We have to find the way with Saudi and with the Emirates and even Qatar that are playing games with us. We have to build confidence, not to patronize them and not to be afraid of them.
But what would you say about the fact that even after October 7th, polls in the so-called West Bank, Judea and Samaria, show that more than 70% of the Palestinians there support Hamas? So the notion that we should have one state and give them citizenship, wouldn't that be a disaster for Israel? Had we given the people of Gaza citizenship, where would we be?
If the polls will take place in America, in your wonderful place, there would not be not 70% and not even 20%. Because the Hamas thought that all Jerusalem is going to become as a really hargash, a volcano. Because all the Hamas will say, you see, our people from Gaza could manage to show Israel that we can beat them. And in Jerusalem, I must say, all the Jerusalemites likes to stay in peace because they have work. And I am not patronizing them because they have really proper jobs. They have national security. They are citizens of Jerusalem. They don't want to become citizens. We are quite happy about this situation. It's up to them. Nevertheless, of course, we have to find a way in order to cooperate. And the President of the United States is doing everything in order to bring Saudi because of strategical need. Because if Iran will have a nuclear weapon. At the moment, they will have nuclear weapon. The Saudians will have a nuclear weapon, and the Egyptian will have a nuclear weapon, and every bandits in the region will have nuclear weapon. So we have to be very careful and to go and to find a way in order to create a region that can really compete with even Europe, to be along with Europe and to be separated from Europe. That Europe needs us as much as we need Europe. And this is an international program and international thoughts, and I'm not involving in that. Because, to your question, as a president, I thought that the president of Israel should deal with the unity between the thoughts. And we were at the time when we had the question, when the Arabs did not refuse even to think about, because when they are talking about 2 states for 2 people, they mean that the state, the Palestinian state, would be exactly like Israel. And they will not have Ben Gurion Airport as Arafat Airport, because at any kind of a program of peace between us and the Palestinians, an arrangement how they can live as nation, they have to be in the boundaries of the state of Israel, because we cannot leave our defense. We cannot leave our security to other than the Israeli army. God bless God for having such a wonderful army like this boy and all the other boys and my children and my grandchildren and all of our grandchildren. And there are many Americans, young boys, who are serving now in the army. Even we started to talk English in the army. Not English, American.
American. President Rivlin, could you share with us why, of all chiefs of staff that you could have had, to have a religious woman, a Haredi woman who wasn't available on Shabbat, who wouldn't shake the Pope's hand or bow to the Pope, who had all these standards, why did you keep her? Why did you elevate her career as chief of staff? It must have been very inconvenient for you.
At 1948, when we have established the state of Israel, when we founded the state of Israel, there were 2 minorities in Israel. On one side, on one hand, Lavdil, the Israeli Arabs. They were at about 5 or 6%. And we had the Haredim. And the Haredim, first we had the Neturei Karta, who denied Israel, but most of the Haredim were fighting in the independence war. They were fighting. They had many casualties in the Sanhedria and in the Kiryat Shmuel and in Katamon and all around Meashorim and all the neighborhoods that was built by people, members of my family. And I must say that they understood that we are fighting for our life. But they said to us and to Ben Gurion, we have to keep studying because we need those 400 out of 50,000, let's say, that have to learn to become Talmidei Chachamim in order to teach. We have habits. We don't want our girls to be part of the army because in the army, we are not used to the way that you live in the army according to our beliefs and to our tradition. And we said everything is understood. But immediately, we found ourselves in 4 systems of education. The regular people, I don't want to say seculars, because those who are not keeping 512 mitzvot, 613, no, in Hebrew, to count I know only in Hebrew. 613 mitzvot. They are keeping 13 mitzvot, God forbid. But I must say that everyone is at shul on Saturdays. Maybe there are people who are going to the football to watch football. It's Saturday afternoon, but they never smoke on Shabbat. Maybe they can take a drive on Shabbat, but they will not smoke on Shabbat. So we have really some new Jewish system that everyone lives according to his tradition. But we kept our idea that everyone have to live according to his belief. And when they had a real separate education system, we respect it. But during the years, they became now, since 2019, 25% of the population, which means they are having education for their children without learning English and without learning mathematics and without learning computers. I must say that as the Speaker of the Knesset, with the cooperation of most of the members of the Knesset from the Haredim side, whether they were Litvaks or from Hasidim, but in Hasidim we have a lot of Hasidim. We have tribes of Hasidim in Israel, and everyone is better than the other one. I must say that they have suddenly realized that no government can be built without their votes. And they started to demand from us to do something that we cannot. It's against our tradition. It's against our tradition. We are not interfering with the life. But we have asked during the last 10 years that the young girls will learn mathematics and we learn English, and they're all learning English, and they are the best computer experts in Israel, and they are doing a lot, and they can now work from home, because with a computer it doesn't make any kind of difference if you are in the other room or three blocks from your office. And they are doing a lot, and they are very happy. And we have asked also that because of the necessities of Israel, everyone, if he will not go to the army because of traditional reasons and beliefs, he should serve his community. And that is all.
Did anyone give you pushback for having a Haredi chief of staff?
Now the politicians that representing the Haredim people really knows that they are not a tribe in the state of Israel. But the state of Israel belongs to them, because without them they cannot have a government. It's not only them, it's the Arab side, the Israeli Arabs. Only now 5 members of the Arab parties have decided to cooperate. And it's if it will go right for the time being, we have some difficulties. But I really believe that we have to live together. Instead of going to the army, you want a national service, okay? Let's do it as a national service. If you refuse to call it national service, let's stay public service, whatever. But everyone have to give his own. You want everything. You want the country and the state to help you. You have to also to contribute to the necessities of the state of Israel. So I really believe that it's going better, because now the young girls of the Haredim are showing the whole Haredic world that they can work. They are working excellent. There are more and more girls from the Haredim side are working in the government or in offices like lawyers' offices and counter and רואי חשבון. Counter, אני אומר counter. My English is terrible. So you have to understand, we have to understand now that we are 25% Arab citizens, 25% Haredim. We have 11 to 14% national religious people. And we have only 38 those that don't keep 613 mitzvot. Less, they are keeping less, not less than 12. Not less than 12. But they are part of Israel. And we have to live together. And I was there in order to invite every one of them. I had problems with our Reform brothers. And they asked me, Rabbi Jacob always asked me, so why do you think that, what are you? Are you secular? I said, no, I'm not keeping all 630 mitzvot, but when I don't keep a mitzvah, I don't keep it as the restriction of the Haredim people. So I'm a secular Haredi. Because I don't, but I'm trying to bring everyone to believe, first of all, that the wish of God to bring us back home and to bring us to become people who are really beacon to the whole world. Let us do something also, because we have to help sometime God. We have to help him. All the time I'm praying to him and say, God, why you are doing that to us? I said, I'm trying my best to convince you. But if you want to win the lottery, you have to buy the ticket. Without the ticket, you cannot win the lottery. That's all. And that was, because down deep in my heart, I prayed to God. Down deep in I was meniach tefillin till I was 22 years old. And because of football and all the other nonsense, I started the shortest prayer. But God forbid.
We need you to put him back on. We
Yeah.
need your help during this time. I want to thank President Rivlin for outstanding evening, for the opportunity.
My dear brothers and sisters, with your
Yes.
permission, we are really sisters and brothers. And we have the same task. And we have the same problems. And unfortunately now, Israel goes with the ideas of anti-Semitism, and anti-Semitism goes with the idea of anti-Israelism. And we are all together. And we are not, in the University of Herzliya, I made a speech telling and warning everyone about the separation in the community in Israel, that we have 4 tribes. And the 4 tribes have to consider themselves as one nation that have 4 tribes. No problem with that. Everyone can live according to his beliefs and his tradition. No one should interfere in the life of others. Right, when you go to the army, you become a little bit suspected. Because you learn something that in your families you don't have when you are a Haredi. But I must say that we can live together, we can understand together. But suddenly I realized that actually we are not 4 tribes, we are 5 tribes. And you are part of this nation. And you are one tribe. The whole people of the diaspora are one tribe. All of them are so worried about Israel. You can't even imagine how the diaspora helps now everyone who really was affected from what have happened in Gaza, and we are to be blamed. The leaders of Israel, not that I'm considering myself as the leader of Israel, but as the former leaders of Israel, we have to consider what have happened. We have to be awake all the time. not to trust anyone but us first of all. Trust everyone after you trust yourself. Trust everyone after you know that you take no chance. And without you, not that we cannot, but together we are much stronger, and then we can say, Am Yisrael Chai.
Am Yisrael Chai. Thank you, President Rivlin. It's not a small thing that President Rivlin is traveling for a week on behalf of Ma'agalim. I want to conclude this evening by asking Asaf to share closing remarks about the extraordinary organization that enabled us to be able to host President Rivlin this evening. So please give us just 3 more minutes. Asaf is going to close us out.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, my friend, President Rivlin, that you join us to this journey. I just want to ask you very, very shortly, 30 seconds, maybe 45. 25 years ago, when I started Ma'agalim, I didn't realize the important and the strong impact that Ma'agalim will bring to Israel states. During October 7, I met a lot and hundreds of graduate Ma'agalim. As Uriel just shared with you, they told me, Asaf, listen, without your mentor of Ma'agalim, I didn't serve as a fighter in this war. My plan was to be something, to do something very softly and office serve. Because of your mentor of Ma'agalim, I changed my future. And during this war in Gaza, hundreds of our graduates, thousands of our graduates become to save Israel. And we here, and we're very, very happy to having us, President Rivlin, in this journey, the last week in New York, here in Boca Raton, to bring the message of Israel states to be strong as a united. And I can tell you, I got a note a few days before I came here from the CEO of Minister of Education in Israel. And he told me, Asaf, listen, 2024 will be very tough. Because every day this war cost to the government of Israel $350 million. Every day. And we can never know how long it will be. The plan could be maybe a month, 6 months, even a year, and maybe more. And we need to cut. And usually, Minister of Education support Ma'agalim 50% of our budget. And this year will be very, very tough. And we're here to bring the message that to continue to save this young generation, to bring them to be fighter, to bring them to save their life and to save Israel, we need you as a partners, as a supporters. As you know, that you do that a lot. And you saving Israel by your support. And you can support your hundreds of boys and girls of Ma'agalim. And you have all the details in the flyer, and I will be here after. Please, take care. Continue to take care. I know that Boca Raton community are saving Israel in the last 3 months a lot. And you are the heroes from here. And thank you about it. Please, we're here because 2024 will be very, very tough. And with your help, with your support, we will continue and we'll grow up. And I want to thank again to Rabbi Moskovich, to Rabbi Goldberg. They open the Boca Raton community for Ma'agalim, for President Rivlin as well, my friend. For me as an Israeli guy, you will be and will stay a president. Always. Thank you very much. Thank you for your support.
If I could call up Uriel to lead us in the tefillah for the Chayalim, followed by a tikva.
מי שברך אבותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, הוא יברך את חיילי צבא ההגנה לישראל ואנשי כוחות הביטחון, העומדים על משמר ארצנו וערי אלוהינו, מגבול הלבנון ועד מדבר מצרים, ומן הים הגדול ועד לבוא הערבה. ובכל מקום שהם, ביבשה, באוויר ובים, ייתן אדוני את אויבינו הקמים עלינו ניגפים לפניהם. הקדוש ברוך הוא ישמור ויציל את חיילינו מכל צרה וצוקה, ומכל נגע ומחלה, וישלח ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשי ידיהם. ידבר שונאינו תחתיהם ויעטרם בכתר ישועה ובעטרת ניצחון. ויקוים בהם הכתוב, כי אדוני אלוהיכם ההולך עמכם להילחם לכם עם אויביכם, להושיע אתכם, ונאמר אמן.
I'd like to call up President Rivlin to join us in Hatikva. Kolod baleva penima
נפש יהודי הומייה, ולפתי מזרח קדימה. עין לציון צופיה, עוד לא אבדה תקוותנו, תקווה בת שנות 2000, להיות עם חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון וירושלים. להיות עם חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון וירושלים.
Thank you, President Rivlin. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening.
Hello, wait a minute, please don't leave. I have a message. I live in America. I was born in the Shoah in Siberia in 1940. I came to Israel in 1949, just before Yom Ha'atzmaut Rishon B'Tel Aviv. I left, unfortunately, Israel. I had to because of my husband. But somebody asked me, I also adopted Gdutz Esvaisret Arayot HaGolan in Israel. I built a house for Ma'agalim. Somebody asked me, why, if you love Israel so much, don't you live there? I said, because I can live like a queen in Israel, but if I'm here, I can help Israel much more. So I beg you, please. There's no amount too small. $80, $180. Please help, because we are in very bad times. And unfortunately, I feel the Shoah coming again. World War II is around the corner. And if we don't stand up, not stand by, stand up for our children and grandchildren, there's not going to be any Jews left in the world. So please give, please. Thank you so much.